What's happening, folks? I'm back with another reaction, and I'm very excited to say we're about to start a much more significant deep dive on Strung Out, which is to say, a friend of the channel, Paul, I had reacted to one tune from Twisted by Design, because it's a CD I had going back to the 90s, and the track is Too Close to See, that's right. And it's a tune that I've always remembered because I enjoy kind of the general idea behind the song. Don't stare too long because everything becomes a blur and it's hard to distinguish things. You got to keep looking around, and don't become dogmatic or sort of ossified. So I really enjoyed that tune, but as it turns out, I don't have the CD anymore. I couldn't find the disc, so I wanted to react to more tunes on that disc, but I don't have it. I don't know what happened to the disc. It must have been lost. I still have the case, which is weird. But in any case, which tells me maybe it was in one of those old CD booklets, and then maybe I just lost the CD booklet. Regardless, I was saying I wanted to react to more Strung Out because it's a group that, I enjoyed the one album I have, but I don't really know their catalog, and now that I'm sort of going on these journeys, I'd love to go on a journey of a punk band from Southern California, but yeah, not one that I know well. So, friend of the channel, Paul, stepped up majorly and very generously sent me Volume 1, which is a box set of their first few albums, as well as a DVD of some performances they did in 2012, including, I think, is what it's saying here, 3 of the albums that comprise, oh, 2 of the albums that comprise this box set are in like a full DVD performance. So that's super great. And not only that, but the individual releases, including their first album, which we're going to start with, Another Day in Paradise, although there's also on this the Skinny Years Before We Got Fat, so it's sort of a double album here. But I believe the Skinny Years is sort of a bonus sort of material, even though I guess these songs predate Another Day in Paradise. Regardless, I'm going to start going through Another Day in Paradise, but I did want to mention the individual releases have like posters and the like. So yeah, this is going to go up. I don't know if it'll be like behind me, because again, real estate is already very limited around these parts, but this will be going up in my room somewhere. So once again, major shout out to friend of the channel, Paul. Very excited for this. I believe he was saying that he actually knows the Strung Out guys, so shout out to you. And we're going to start, as I said, by going through Another Day in Paradise. I want to make sure I have this right. I had it open on Discogs because I wanted to make sure I was talking about it right. So okay, 1994 is Another Day in Paradise on Fat Records. So again, I believe the Before We Got Fat, when we get there, it's going to be stuff that's actually recorded before this, or that they wrote before this, but that wasn't released, on like a notable punk rock label, so that it was later included as like a bonus release. In any case, the first track we're going to listen to is Population Control. Those of you who know the channel know that if I'm not familiar with the song, which again, the only album that as far as I know, I ever heard from them was Twisted by Design. I may have heard 1 or 2 other songs because I had a couple friends who were into them. But generally speaking, as we go through this, I don't think I'm going to know any of the songs. So when I don't know a song, I usually just talk for a minute or 2 about the title, just what it makes me think of, what themes might be at play, never in a definitive way, always in a sort of speculative, maybe this will be relevant, just as a way to get my brain thinking, so that if I hear a line which is relevant, I can sort of more quickly sort of integrate it with one of those interpretations. So Population Control, what it makes me think of, if it's going to be a punk rock song, is it maybe makes me think about a punk rock assessment of the stupid things that people do, and the way that people behave in harmful ways, whether to themselves or others, such that maybe that's essentially the de facto population control, is that people do dumb things which lead to premature deaths, whether their own or other people's, or maybe the bad attitudes and actions of other people again lead to more people dying early than would otherwise do. So again, this might have nothing to do with it. It might be taking the concept in a completely different direction. I was going to say, shout out to Paul. He did mention that, maybe one of his favorite bands of all time is Bad Religion, and another one is Strung Out. And he was saying, like, lyrically, they're actually very far apart from each other, which tells me that maybe, despite Too Close to See feeling like it kind of had this, philosophical sort of attitude that, hey, in your life, don't get dogmatic, don't get stuck, like, staring at one thing forever. It tells me that maybe on a larger viewpoint, their songs will be a bit cheeky, maybe they'll be a bit, sort of fun or funny, or at the very least they might be more about personal matters and kind of like psychology between people and relationships that evolve over time, and less about maybe like overarching political and philosophical themes. So in any case, this is all very speculative. I'm very new to this group. Once more, want to give a massive shout out to Paul for this. We're going to go through the whole thing. We're starting with this one. So the very first tune on Another Day in Paradise is Population Control. As I said, this is from 1994. I feel like it's about to explode. Come on. I'm not catching a whole lot of the lyrics, but I love the energy. Fucking hell. And I like the stop-start, the precision. Yeah. Fucking hell. That guitar solo would give me a little bad religion vibe, and that's not a bad thing. Oh. Fucking hell. Play it fast. Wow. Sonically, I love that. It's fast. I mean, it's not that the tunes that I knew from them on Twisted by Design were, much slower, but that feels a little more like thrashy than anything I remember hearing by them. So that's a really cool starter. Lyrically, it's one of those things, especially punk rock. First time you hear a song, especially when I listen to music for the first time, I try to engage with the lyrics as much as possible in their actual sonic context. Now, if after like 5 or 6 listens I still can't catch some of the lines, I will go and look at the either lyric sheet or try to check online. In this case, I believe I will have access to the lyrics, and I did notice in the booklet for this one, and assumedly the next couple albums as well, there's like sort of it's not the original booklet in that there's like retrospective stuff. I saw there's a couple like, they're not really like interviews, they're more like just an essay and like, I felt very lucky to join Strung Out, and sort of like retrospectives by guys in the band. So I'm very excited to go through those and get a sense of the trajectory of this group. But again, I'll be doing it sort of in piecemeal as well sonically. But the point is, I didn't catch all of the lyrics there. Definitely got to listen to it some more. I did hear the title phrase. I heard population control in there, but I don't know exactly the context in which it was said. So, but yeah, once more, shout out to Paul. We're going to be going through a lot of Strung Out in the next little bit. Not that I'm going to stop going through any of the other punk bands. Still going to be Bad Religion reactions, still going to be Propaganda reactions. Meaning to get back to the Subhumans. I haven't done one of those in a while. Operation Ivy, still got a lot of those songs to go through. But again, expect more Strung Out in the immediate future. Shout out to Paul. Let me know what you think of this one. I'll see you next time. Peace.